Hi-yo, hello again, and welcome to Portal Season 2024. This is going to be episode number 14, and our first show since Christmas. I hope you guys had a great holiday. I was chilling in Montgomery, doing my thing, and what did I get? I don't even remember. I've already forgotten. Oh, I got a scooter. I got the one that Cam Coleman told me I should get. All right, moving on. We want to get a little recap since I've been away for a little bit of time here. The Auburn Tigers still have their 14 signees out of the portal, and they have been one of the most active teams in the entire country from a portal perspective. We're going to break that down here in just a little bit, but Eric Singleton, the outstanding slot / could play some outside receiver from Georgia Tech, is the most recent signee, which came in, I believe, on the 24th. It actually was hammered out on the night before, but anyway, that was a huge ad for Auburn. Obviously, I gave him an A-. A lot of people would probably say he's an A type player, and I just kind of want to see what he can do before I get carried away with the grades. You guys know I've been covering Auburn a long time, and I've heard a lot of hype going from Greg Smith on one end, you know what I'm saying, and then Dre's kind of on the other, where I thought he was even better than the way people thought he would be, you know. So I'm trying to be measured with my grades there. I want to take some time here to assess where Auburn's at. 14 players added. You can see over there on the left that those were Auburn's top needs when we began. And I feel like they have firmly addressed 5 of the 7 areas where they needed immediate help. There's 2 left. Let's work our way through this hit and misses graphics. You can kind of see on the left side there. Added 2 quarterbacks, Ashton Daniels, Jackson Arnold. I'm good with what they've done there. Left tackle, added Xavier Chaplin from Virginia Tech. I think he's a plug-and-play guy. Love what they've done there. They haven't been this good at left tackle in a little while. Nose, they added Dallas Walker from Western Kentucky, who signed with Texas A&M out of high school and was a very coveted recruit. Solid. I think he's solid. Sometimes that's a tough position to kind of assess because they're doing a lot of dirty work, taking on double teams, just trying to hold their position and maybe, push a little bit, but it can be a tough position to really appreciate. Wide out, you add Horatio Fields from Wake Forest, and you add Eric Singleton. So I think that's good. They've done a nice job there. Tailback, they added Darrell Robinson Jr. from UConn, also started at Charlotte and played really well there. And then kicker. They added the kicker from Southern Miss, which is a kind of a spot that, going into portal, I didn't necessarily think they would need, but I think the information that they've gotten on Alex McPherson has not been real encouraging. You guys know he's been dealing with some, I guess you could call it stomach issue or gastro problems for a long time now. This has been going on for 6 months. And I think at some point they said, hey, man, we need to do more. We need to have more options behind him in the possibility that he does not come back. So that leaves areas where I think they still have the needs to address. Buck, they've got to have somebody there. Clev Lubin ended up going to Louisville. TJ Searcy ended up going to Texas A&M. So they missed on their top 2 Bucks. That does not mean this party's over. The portal's going to run for another week or so. There's going to be some dudes that are going to jump in, and I feel like Auburn and a lot of other teams are monitoring players that could go in the portal and may already have people talking to them through back channels. I'm just being real about it. So Buck is an area they got to have help. 3 tech, which is really a defensive tackle, like a Senderick Marks type player. Nick Fairley could play. It's like a 3 tech kind of. He could also do a lot of different stuff because he's such a badass. But just that guy that can play anywhere from like a 3 to a 5, like a shaded 5, somebody like that. I think they need that before next season. Now, safety is something that in the group chat we had earlier today at auburnsports.com, me, BMAT, Caleb, and Stoltze. I didn't really go to Henry on this one because he's a basketball guy, but do they need help at safety? And there were some disagreements in the group. I thought they needed a safety, but BMAT really brought up some good points about why they don't need help at safety right now. And we're going to go in to look at that here in a second. And we'll work on linebacker maybe tomorrow and take a deeper look at that. Looking at the secondary depth, this is the way I see it right now. There can be some kvetching about who's going to go where. Players like Donovan Starr, who just signed, a young man that they kind of snatched away from, well, he's from up in Nashville, so snatched him away technically from Vanderbilt. Really, it was about Alabama and Auburn for him. Is he going to play nickel? Is he going to play corner? I mean, he's that kind of a player. He'd go either way on that one. looking specifically at safety, which is what I was mentioning earlier, Caleb Harris I thought was amazing this year. He should be a freshman All-American without a doubt. Played a ton of snaps for Auburn. He's going to get his crack at a full-time spot at safety next year, no doubt about it. He is a bad, bad man, and I think he's got a huge ceiling. Caleb Harris. Eric Winters is coming in from Enterprise, one of the two great safeties that they signed. Eric Winters is one. Anquan, you may know him as New Boy. Fagans is the other one. I think those guys have some portability where they can – Anquan could play both. I think of Eric Winters as more of a physical box-type safety, but he's also good in coverage because he's just kind of a freak athlete. He's great in basketball. He played quarterback. He can do a lot of stuff. T-Love, I think, is getting outmoded a little bit. But, hey, man, he's still in the game. He's a scholarship player there. Free safety, Tay Seymour, who they just added out of the portal from Georgia Tech. I don't love him. We'll just kind of see. I think he's more of a developmental piece. Jaquez Robinson, who's the only returning guy at free safety. He came over from Colorado. He started at Alabama. Didn't play much this year. I don't know what to expect from him. And the New Boy Fagans, who may be a plug-and-play guy. I don't know. He was an outstanding high school player. And I think that he's going to be in the picture at safety next year. But do you see what I'm saying? Maybe at free safety, there's someone that could slide in there. If they get a plug-and-play guy who's played, got 25 starts to his name and can do a solid job, they may see Tay Seymour that way. I kind of don't, but it ain't my call. Nickel, I like where they're at. You think Champ's going to be back from the broken leg. He was having a great opening part of the season there, and I thought he was going to be, a really good player at nickel, and I think he still can be. Sly Smith, who can play some free safety, played mostly at nickel when Champ went down last year. So I'm not exactly sure where to put Sly. He can play, again, some portability there. I think he'll slide in at nickel. And then Donovan Starr can be nickel, can be a corner. Love the depth they have at cornerback at this point. Ain't nobody saying Auburn needs cornerbacks now that Strader's in there. Ryan Strader is somebody that I think is going to be a plug-and-play badass. But, okay, who's going to play opposite him? It's going to be a showdown between Jay Crawford and Kayan Lee. I went ahead and gave Kayan the nod just because he's a little bit older. I was impressed more with what Jay did last year, so that's still up for debate. You still got Kensley Ludiador Faustin on campus. Blake Woodby's going to be here as a true freshman coming in. Donovan, of course. Devin Williams coming in as a true freshman. Tons of depth there. I had a very strong feeling about J.C. Hart coming into the season. He didn't really make much of an effect. I think he was the lowest rated player on Auburn's defense last season by PFF. I know the grades don't necessarily matter, but he didn't have a great season. But it's okay. He came from a very small school. He's going to maybe work his way up, and you'd like to see some progress next season. But anyway, they have some really good choices at cornerback. And again, I think Blake Woodby's going to be a big-time player, and I think Donovan Starr's got a chance to. So for me, I'd like to see them sign another free safety. B-Matt and Caleb both thought, I think they're good. They're going to roll with what they got. I guess the linchpin there is, okay, do you trust in Tay Seymour? And I don't at this point. That's just how I feel about it. I talked earlier about portal additions. Auburn has 14. I thought that was a hell of a lot. I looked at the numbers. It's not a hell of a lot. It's still very good nationally, but Texas Tech and Kansas, with 17 apiece so far. Central Florida no longer helmed by Sir Gustav Malzahn, Arthur Gustav Malzahn, who is now the offensive coordinator at Florida State. Mississippi State with Jeff Lebby there has 16, and UCLA, I don't even know who the coach is at UCLA, at 16. Then Auburn, Arkansas, Kentucky, Wisconsin's at 14 as well, but nobody cares, and I didn't include them in this list. LSU, I believe, is at 13. So portal has been some teams have been extremely aggressive in it. Others, like Clemson, have been very passive in it. And it's interesting for me to see. Actually, this list is incorrect now that I look at it because Ole Miss, I believe, is at 15 or 16. So I don't know why I omitted them. That is 100% on me and my friends that are Ole Miss fans. I'm sorry, guys. They belong on this list as well. They're above Auburn, Arkansas, and Kentucky. So one little quick note on that one. I don't know who these graphics people are, guys. Are you going to drop the donut? It was actually me. I'm just kidding. Anyway, Auburn is certainly right there among the best teams in the country as far as getting in the portal and getting stuff done, which we kind of thought was going to happen based on what happened last year, because I think last year we would all agree is kind of a calamity from a portal perspective. They did get some good players, but they were late, and I thought they had to do some end arounds to get the stuff done late. This year, with Will Redmond kind of running the show, completely different situation, and they absolutely got it done and have gotten it done so far. In fact, if you ask me, I think their portal effort so far has been probably a B+, and I would have expected a C. I mean, let's be real about it. These kids out there, they're not clamoring to come to Auburn at the moment. You wouldn't think they would be after the season they had, and now it's 4 in a row where it's like, But listen, Hugh Freeze and this staff has been pushing a vision of what are we going to be. We need you to get there, and you can see a lot of kids are really buying into that. I'm going to wrap it up there because we hit our 10-minute point. I'd like to keep these short and sweet. I hope you guys had a great Christmas again. We got New Year's coming up. It's almost time to think about those resolutions, and I think a fine resolution would be to subscribe to this channel. Oh, yes, if you haven't already. If you don't mind, it would make me happy, and I appreciate you doing that, and for sure, watching our content. So till I see you guys again, keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the stars. I'm Jay Tate. Good day.